The story begins with General Francis X. Hummel, a highly decorated U.S. Marine Corps brigadier general who has served his country for over 30 years. He is respected, disciplined, and deeply loyal to his soldiers. But behind his calm and authoritative presence lies a growing bitterness. Over the years, many Marines under his command have died during covert operations, their deaths never officially acknowledged by the government. Their families were denied compensation, honors, and even public recognition. Hummel feels betrayed by the very nation he served faithfully. One night, Hummel secretly visits the grave of his wife, speaking to her about his frustration and moral conflict. He knows what he is about to do is dangerous and illegal, but he believes it is the only way to force the government to listen. With a small group of elite and loyal Marines, Hummel executes a daring raid on a highly secure military weapons depot. They steal 15 rockets loaded with deadly VX nerve gas, one of the most lethal chemical weapons ever created. Even a small amount of VX gas can kill thousands within minutes. Hummel and his men move swiftly and professionally, avoiding unnecessary casualties. During the raid, however, one Marine accidentally breaks a VX gas bead, leading to his horrifying death. This moment deeply affects Hummel, reinforcing that he does not want innocent people harmed. His mission is not mass murder, it is leverage. The Marines take control of Alcatraz Island, the infamous former federal prison located in San Francisco Bay, now a tourist attraction. They evacuate the civilians and transform the island into a fortified stronghold. From there, Hummel positions the VX rockets to target San Francisco. He sends a message to the U.S. government demanding $100 million in compensation to be paid to the families of fallen Marines. If his demand is not met within a set deadline, he threatens to launch the rockets and release the nerve gas over the city. Panic spreads through the government. The threat is real, and the consequences could be catastrophic. The president and top military officials convene urgently. They decide to prepare a covert operation to neutralize the threat if negotiations fail. For this mission, they need two unique individuals. The first is Dr. Stanley Goodspeed, a mild-mannered FBI chemical weapons specialist. Goodspeed is an expert in VX gas disposal but has no real combat experience. He is nervous, awkward, and clearly out of his element, but his knowledge is essential. The second is John Patrick Mason, a former British SAS operative and the only man who ever escaped from Alcatraz. Mason has been imprisoned for decades in a secret government facility after stealing classified microfilm containing U.S. state secrets. The government erased his identity, locking him away without trial. Mason is older now, cynical, sharp-witted, and distrustful of American authorities. Mason initially refuses to help, furious at the government for stealing his life and separating him from his daughter. However, when he learns that innocent lives are at risk and that helping could lead to his freedom, he reluctantly agrees. He joins Goodspeed and a team of U.S. Navy SEALs tasked with infiltrating Alcatraz and disarming the missiles. The mission begins at night. The SEAL team approaches Alcatraz underwater, guided by Mason's knowledge of the island's hidden routes. The tension is high as they enter the island through an old maintenance tunnel. However, disaster strikes when the SEALs encounter Hummel's Marines in a narrow shower room. A misunderstanding escalates into a deadly firefight. In seconds, nearly the entire SEAL team is wiped out. Only Goodspeed and Mason survive. With no backup and limited time, the two men must continue the mission alone. Mason takes charge, using his combat experience and instincts to navigate the prison. Goodspeed struggles to keep up, terrified but determined. As they move through the island, they narrowly avoid patrols and traps set by the Marines. Meanwhile, inside Alcatraz, General Hummel begins to doubt his plan. He never intended to kill civilians, and he realizes that some of his men, especially Captain Darrow and Major Baxter, are becoming more aggressive and power-hungry. They push Hummel to follow through on the threat if the government does not comply. The internal conflict grows, setting the stage for betrayal. Goodspeed manages to reach one of the VX rockets. Using his expertise, he carefully disarms the missile by removing the fragile VX gas beads. One mistake could release the gas and kill him instantly. His fear is overwhelming, but he succeeds. As he moves to the second rocket, he accidentally drops a VX bead, which breaks and sticks to his protective suit. Realizing he has seconds before the gas eats through the suit, Goodspeed bravely stabs his own chest with an atropine injection, saving his life in a painful and harrowing moment. As the deadline approaches, the government launches a last resort plan. They fire a missile carrying a powerful explosive toward Alcatraz, intending to destroy the island if Hummel launches the rockets. Hummel detects the incoming missile and quickly launches one VX rocket toward San Francisco, but he secretly alters its guidance so it crashes harmlessly into the ocean. This reveals his true intentions. He never wanted to kill anyone. When Major Baxter realizes this, he confronts Hummel. A violent standoff occurs, and Baxter is killed. Soon after, Captain Darrow betrays Hummel completely, shooting him and taking control of the mission. With Hummel dying, Darrow prepares to launch the remaining rockets for real, driven by greed and revenge rather than justice. Wounded but still alive, Hummel contacts Goodspeed and Mason, warning them that Darrow has taken over and intends to fire the missiles. Hummel gives his life trying to stop the launch, sacrificing himself to protect innocent lives. Goodspeed and Mason race against time. Mason engages Darrow in a brutal gunfight through the prison corridors, using clever tactics and sheer determination. In a dramatic chase, Mason lures Darrow into the prison chapel. After an intense battle, Mason kills Darrow, ending the immediate threat. With seconds left, Goodspeed reaches the final rocket. The missile begins its launch sequence, rising toward the sky. In a desperate move, Goodspeed climbs onto the rocket and manually inserts a flare into its exhaust, causing it to veer off course and explode safely over the bay. The crisis is finally over. As military forces retake Alcatraz, Goodspeed is hailed as a hero. Mason, however, knows the government may betray him again. Using his intelligence and foresight, Mason escapes custody one last time. Before disappearing, he leaves Goodspeed a message revealing the location of the secret microfilm he stole decades earlier. Goodspeed returns home, a changed man. He proposes to his longtime girlfriend, finally finding confidence and purpose. Mason reunites with his daughter in secret, watching from afar, knowing he must remain a ghost to stay free. The film ends with Mason walking away into the distance, free at last, while the American flag flies over Alcatraz, symbolizing both the cost of loyalty and the price of freedom.